Hello everyone and welcome to Changeling Gaming. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to play Carcassonne. Carcassonne is a level 1 pick up and play family game designed by Klaus-Jürgen Ried and published by Zedman Games for 2 to 5 players that takes on average 30 to 45 minutes to play. In Carcassonne, we'll be generating the lands and territories of medieval France, developing the land with cities, roads, and abbeys, while laying out fields that can be cultivated by farmers. As we develop the land, we'll choose when and where to place our followers in the newly added lands, earning points when they return and trying to outmaneuver our opponents and prevent their followers from helping them score points. Can you outwit your opponents with careful placement of new features in the lands of Carcassonne? Setup. The first step is to divide the land tiles into a face-down pile with all the light-colored backs and shuffle those. Then take the tiles of the dark backs and decide which of the 2 variants you'd like to play, the single starting tile or the river. If playing the single tile, then put the river tiles back in the box and place the single tile face up in the middle of the table. If playing with the river, place the single tile back in the box. Then isolate the source and lake tiles and shuffle the other river tiles into a face-down stack. Place the lake tile at the bottom of that stack and place the source tile face up in the middle of the table as the starting point. Pull out the scoreboard and set it nearby. Every player selects a color and takes the abbot and 7 meeple of that color, placing the 8th on the starting space of the scoreboard. First player is determined however you want. How to play. A player's turn has 3 steps to it. First, they will draw and place a tile from the stacks. Then, they can place a single meeple on one of the features of that tile. Finally, any features that are completed by the placement of the tile are scored by the players who have meeple on that feature. When placing a tile, it may be placed anywhere adjacent to a tile currently on the board, but must continue the features of the tile it is connecting to. So roads must be connected, cities connected to cities, and the like. If playing with the river start, then players must draw from the river stack until it is empty, and only then start drawing other tiles. In addition, the curving sections of the river cannot curve in the same direction twice, so that the river cannot take a U-turn. When placing a meeple on a feature, there are 4 main types where every meeple can be placed: cities, roads, abbeys, and fields. However, meeple cannot be placed on a feature that already has a meeple. Meeples placed on features will return when that feature is complete. A meeple on a city becomes a knight, and will return when that city's boundaries are completed and there are no holes. A meeple on a road becomes a highwayman, and will return when both ends of the road are finished, or the road forms a loop. A meeple on an abbey becomes a monk, and will return when the 8 surrounding spaces are filled in. A meeple placed in a field is placed lying down, becoming a farmer, and will not return, but will score points at the end of the game. Fields are delimited by roads, the river, and cities, essentially anything that fully splits the green pastures. There is also an abbot piece, which can be placed on abbeys or on gardens. The abbot is returned automatically when the 8 spaces surrounding the abbey or garden are filled, just as with a normal abbey. The abbot can also be reclaimed, though, if a meeple is not placed down on a player's turn. If the abbot is reclaimed, score points according to the number of tiles placed around the tile and the tile itself. In this example, 5 points. After the tile has been placed and the meeple has been played or the option passed on, it's time to score any meeple for any completed features. If a city has been completed, then whoever has the most meeple in it scores 2 points for every tile included within the city and an extra 2 points for every shield icon. If there is a tie, every tied player earns those points. If a road has terminal points at both ends or forms a loop, then the player with the most meeple on it scores 1 point for every tile included in the road. If there is a tie, every tied player earns those points. If an abbey is fully surrounded, then the player with the meeple on the abbey scores 9 points, 1 for each tile around the abbey and 1 for the abbey itself. Once any completed features are scored and the meeple are returned, play continues clockwise, with the next player drawing and placing the top tile of the stack. Once the final tile has been drawn and placed, it is time to do the final scoring. Scoring. First, we'll score the incomplete features. Having a majority of the meeple still applies to all of the following, with tied players earning full points each. For every meeple on an incomplete road, the player controlling that meeple gains a point for every connected tile the road passes through. For every meeple on an unfinished abbey, score a point for the abbey tile and every adjacent tile. This includes the abbot. Whether he is on an abbey or a garden, they are treated the same. For every meeple on an incomplete city, score 1 point for every tile included in the city, as well as 1 point for every shield on those city tiles. Finally, it's time to score the farmers. First, identify the extent of each field and who has meeple competing for it. If there are any ties, every player in the tie will earn those points. Then, count up the number of completed cities with walls touching that territory. Whoever is controlling the fields earns 3 victory points per city. After all the scores are tallied, whoever has the most points is the winner. So go out and plan carefully how you want to place your cities, roads, abbeys, and fields so you can outmaneuver and outwit your opponents and secure your domination over the realm of Carcassonne. Be sure to support your local game stores. For us, that is Board Game To Go, who offer over 2,000 games for rental within the Toronto area and many games for purchase. If you're curious about this game, check out the link in the description. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to post them in the comments below, or take a look to see if someone else has already answered it down there, and be sure to thank them if they have. If you want to learn more about what our ranking system means, check out this video here. And if you want to learn how to play more games, check out our playlist here. And remember, keep changing, keep gaming, have fun.